Yesterday we left off by talking about glass. Okay, so glass is an interesting phenomenon, like we started talking yesterday. Okay, all materials, generally speaking, absorb. So if you cook in a metal pot, you cook meat, the meat becomes absorbed in the wall of the pot. You cook milk, it becomes milk in the walls of the pot. Okay, that works by basically all materials. Now, what's unique about earthenware, kli cheres, which includes all earthenware things, ceramic, china, all those things, that kli cheres absorbs but never spits out completely. The Gemara says, we know kli cheres eino yotze midafyav la'olam. It never spits all the absorption in it. So if somebody, let's say, cooked milchiks or fleishiks in a ceramic pot, okay? So now it has the taste of ceramic, taste of meat or milk, but you're going to kasher it 20 times with hot water, it's still going to only let out little. It's not going to let out everything. The only way you can kasher kli cheres, by the way, is achzira lekifshan. You put it back in the original fire, the kiln, in other words, that made it. If you take a china, let's say, which is made in a kiln, yeah? And now it became treif. So if you want to kasher china halachic properly, you can put it back into a kiln, which gets up, I think, to 1200 degrees, whatever it is, something like that, and you put it in the kiln, and because of the heat of the kiln, it's like a new keli was made. So it's not anymore the old keli. Okay, but that's an exception. So now the question is like this. Glass is smooth. So there's two opinions in halacha we were mentioning yesterday, whether glass absorbs or not. Because glass is a form of cheres, it's a form of earthenware. Glass is a form of earthenware stuff. So one opinion in halacha says glass never absorbs. Therefore it never absorbs, it can never become treif, it can never become milk, it can never become meat. According to certain opinions, it's even for Pesach you can use it. You had your glass dishes, plain glass dishes, or glasses, whatever. So according to that opinion, you can even use it for Pesach, milchiks and fleishiks. It's not an issue because it never absorbs. Make sure it's clean, and that's the thing. That's opinion number one. Opinion number two is it absorbs and you can never kasher it. It's like an earthenware vessel. Okay, so you can't kasher glass, and it becomes treif. Now, the machlekes between the Bais Yosef and the Ramah, going back earlier between the Sfardim and Ashkenazim, is really in Hilchos Pesach. The machlekes between the Bais Yosef and the Ramah, whether glass is never treif or you can't kasher it, is in Hilchos Pesach. There are opinions in halacha that say that the argument is only by Pesach. Pesach is strict, so the argument is only by Pesach. Rest of the year, no, glass doesn't absorb. Even according to those opinions that hold by Pesach, it absorbs, they'll hold the rest of the year, it doesn't absorb. Okay? Even in contemporary poskim, so like Moshe, for instance, the Sfardim, they paskin like the Bais Yosef, they're much more mekel in glass than Ashkenazim are. Now some Ashkenazim are machmer a whole year, like we're machmer a whole year. Some Ashkenazim are more mekel, they'll have the same glasses for meat and milk. Or another thing they'll be mekel some, and what happens if you go to a hotel, you're going to have a bar mitzvah, a wedding, whatever, and you're going to have kosher food. But the hotel is giving you glass dishes. Now, the hotel's dishes are treif, obviously. But the question is, if you hold glass can never become treif, so technically you can use the glass dishes. If you hold it's only Pesach, but the rest of the year everybody is lenient, and you can use it the rest of the year, you know what I mean? But the bottom line is people try to be strict that the glass absorbs and doesn't, but the evidence it's much more lenient with glass. than it is with other things. So for instance, I'll give you an example. What happens when you go to somebody's house who doesn't keep kosher? So now you really can't eat there because you know what, But let's say they're going to make you, I'm not saying you should do this, but let's say hypothetically they're going to make you a cup of tea. Now the water is kosher, the tea is kosher, basically whatever, but the trade for kalim. So the best thing would be to have it in a paper cup, in a coffee cup. But what happens if they offer you either glass or a china mug? So then, halachically, it's better to take it, if you have to take it, I'm saying, then it's better to take it in a glass, because then, according to many opinions, it's not treif at all. So that is the same thing. So now you have kavish kumavoshel by glass. Does it apply or not? So again, it's dependent on these things. If you hold glass absorbs, and you add milk in a glass that was slashik, and now you have meat and milk together, so it could be a problem. So again, if you hold it's not, then it's not such an issue. Okay? That's as far as this din goes.
But the fish,
what?
the plate, glass plate, fishing,
No.
and then afterward it's served.
Talk louder, sir.
Okay, what about if they serve meat after serving fish and they don't change the plate?
So for meat, no, we're going off topic, but for meat to fish, there are people, by the way, more so years ago, that people would have separate fish pots. They would not cook their fish in a regular meat pot. Why? Not that fish and meat are treif, chas v'sholem, okay? But the Gemara says, and Shulchan Aruch brings it down, it's a sakana to eat fish and meat together. What science says doesn't really matter, but the bottom line is that it's Torah says meat and fish are sakana. So some people, because of that, are very strict. They're going to make fish, they'll cook fish, they won't use a meat pot for it. They'll have a special fish pot that they call it. Halachically, as long as the pot is clean from fish, you can cook meat in it. As long as the pot is clean from meat, it's clean, you can, right away even. You can cook fish in a pot, halachically I'm saying. Wash out the pot is clean, you can cook immediately meat. Meat, because it's a kind to eat them together, but not the absorption is not what the issue is. So that's the situation with that.
Fish and dairy.
Fish and dairy, what's interesting, in Shulchan Aruch it says you can't eat fish and dairy, but all the commentators say it's a mistake, it's supposed to be fish and meat. But nevertheless, there are opinions, as Rabbeinu Bachaya, the Pesach Tshuva brings on a bunch of opinions, that you don't eat fish and milk. Some people are machmir only on milk, but let's say cheese, they would eat. Yeah, so many people will eat lox, cream cheese, and bagels. Many people will not eat lox, cream cheese, and bagels. But halachically, those that are machmir really are more machmir by actual milk. So they won't drink a cup of milk together with their tuna fish sandwich or their lox sandwich. I'm just saying that, what?
Why is Saudi machmirim on this?
On what?
On milk, dairy, and fish.
They're machmir. I haven't seen it.
No?
I see them all eating bagels, lox, and cream cheese. I don't know. Maybe they're not. Huh? They, yeah. Okay. What? That would do with kashu with milu v'iri. We're not talking about kashuing though. So let's say, so you don't have to go to glass. You can go to, what happens if somebody had a halachic cup, a ceramic, okay, a ceramic cup, and they had milk in there for 24 hours. So now it became treif, right? But we said you don't kasher earthenware vessel.
You say what?
You don't kasher earthenware vessels. But in this case, where it was only kavush, it was only absorption of 24 hours. So then the din is you could kasher it. How do you kasher this earthenware vessel that had milk in it for 24 hours? So it's called an halacha milui ve'irui, which means you take this, okay, this is a glass, okay, and this is a bathtub, okay, you fill the bathtub with water, you put the vessel into the water, submerged in the water for 24 hours, change the water another 24 hours, and then change it again for another 24 hours. So basically what you're doing is, you're kashering cheres that became treif only with kavush, only with the 24 hour stuff. You can kasher with milui ve'irui, which halachically hold even by a kli cheres. And halachically even for Pesach also. If it only became cold with kavush, so then you can kasher it by again. The practical way is you take a bathtub, fill it up with water, submerge the keli in there, okay, for 24 hours, change the water, and if you did it 25, 26 hours, you could also change the water, not less than 24 hours. You change the water again and again, and after 72 hours, you kasher the glass.
Can't do it in a pot.
Huh? Yeah. I'm saying if you have a bigger pot and the glass is small, that it's completely submerged in the water, yeah, it doesn't have to be a bathtub. I'm saying if you have a big thing, you need a bathtub. But again, that's the din of milavir. Machachin is a marsma merve b'mayim kim shela gal teira b'chanan mekashemed.